Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, and today I wanted to talk about facial recognition cameras. Basically, because in yesterday's Reuters, they were talking about they're going to ramp it up. And so, for people like me, people of colour, and a woman, it causes concern. But let me just read out what I want to share with you so I don't deviate, I don't digress. You know me, I go on a little tangent. If I've got some time at the end, I'll do that. Okay, so close your eyes for a second. Picture a crowded street. Well, I guess, yeah, it will apply to anybody, I guess. People everywhere, faces passing by, thousands of little stories in motion. I'm a people watcher, so I do that all the time. I imagine what people are doing, where they're going, where they're coming from. So now imagine one of those faces is yours and a machine is scanning it. A camera overhead, silently in the corner of a shop or mounted on a police van, is comparing you to a database. And then it makes a decision. You are a match. But here's the truth, the match might be wrong. Very wrong. Because facial recognition, this technology that promised to keep us safe, doesn't see everyone equally. Time and time again, studies show it fails more often with women and with people of colour. The most vulnerable, the most unseen or misseen. Studies show error rates for darker skinned women can be dozens of times higher than for lighter skinned men. Now imagine living in a world where your face carries an invisible weight, where every step, every moment in public could trigger a false match, where being misseen becomes a daily risk. This is not imagination for many people, it's their reality. Because the technology isn't neutral. It doesn't see everyone equally. And the worst part, there's almost no recourse. No apology, no acknowledgement, no explanation, just a match. And your life is disrupted in that moment. Have systems improved? Well, companies say they've improved. The algorithms are smarter, more accurate. But here's the truth. Those improvements shine in labs, under perfect lighting, on static photos. In the real world, streets, crowds, shadows, motion blur, low resolution CCTV, and suddenly those old disparities return. Women and people of colour continue to bear the brunt of errors because in messy real life, the algorithms still stumble. So, and then there's consent. CCTV cameras, we've grown up with them. We tolerate them. Facial recognition, that's different. This isn't just filming you. It's turning your face into data, your identity into a code, a number, a match, in a system you don't agree to be in. We walk through shops, we pass police vans, we're scanned. We don't sign anything, we don't say yes. And when mistakes happen, as they often do, the people who are most misidentified are the ones least likely to fight back, or least able to fight back. However, there is compensation if you are misidentified, although it's very, very difficult. But currently, the system for redress is limited in the UK. Civil claims under data protection laws. Facial recognition systems handle biometric data, which is special category personal data under the UK GDPR and Data Protection Act 2018. If a system misidentifies someone and causes harm, for instance, emotional distress, reputational damage, or a wrongful stop, the individual may be able to bring a claim against the data controller, usually the police or the company providing the system. Compensation can cover distress and sometimes financial loss, but these claims are rare and complex. What about human rights claims? Individuals can argue breaches of Article 8, privacy, or Article 14, non-discrimination, of the Human Rights Act 1998. These claims can be brought in civil or judicial review cases if the deployment itself is unlawful, e.g., disproportionate or discriminatory. That would be really difficult to prove. What about practical challenges? Often people don't even know they're being misidentified because police or companies rarely notify those affected. No automatic compensation system exists for false matches. Redress requires a legal action which can be costly and slow. Success depends on demonstrating harm and proving the system was misused or discriminatory, and that's the hardest thing to do. Bottom line, there is some legal pathway for victims, but it's limited, reactive, and requires someone to take the initiative. Most people wrongly flagged will experience stress or disruption without direct compensation. So here's the question: do we want a world where technology judges us more harshly if we belong to certain groups? Do we want cameras that see some faces clearly and others as mistakes waiting to happen? Or do we want a world where innovation is paired with humanity, oversight, fairness and dignity? Because a face isn't just pixels, it's a person, it's a life, it's a history, it's a family, it's a story. And until facial recognition treats us all equally, the human cost, the fear, the humiliation, the silent anxiety will continue. Next time you walk through a station, past a police van, or even into a busy shop, remember, technology sees a lot, but it doesn't see everything. And sometimes the faces it misses or misreads are the ones who matter the most. So what's legal versus lawful in the context of racial recognition? Sometimes something is legal if it's permitted under the letter of the law. For example, UK police use facial recognition can be legal if they follow statutory powers, regulations or authorisations. There is no blanket ban on the use of facial recognition. So for policing, so deployments can be legal under existing statutes. Lawful goes even further. It means that use also complies with broader legal principles, including human rights, proportionality, fairness and privacy. For instance, even if a police force is legal under a police act, their deployment may be unlawful if it breaches human rights protections, Article 8, right to privacy. It is discriminatory, targets certain groups disproportionately, if it's disproportionate or not sufficiently justified. In practice, some UK deployments of facial recognition have been found legal but controversial, and at least one case at High Court ruled Met Police trial unlawful because it failed to meet proportionality and equality standards, ICO and case rulings 2020 to 2023. So legal versus lawful, lawfulness adds ethical, proportionality and rights-based dimensions. In summary, when we see headlines about the police forces in Britain are looking to ramp up facial recognition cameras, it sounds simple, but when people of colour and women adversely react to the idea, it isn't because of conspiracy or speculation, it's hard evidence. Some of the biggest studies, we're talking university researchers and government scientists, found that in many systems the accuracy drops dramatically depending on the person's skin tone or gender. In some tests, lighter-skinned men were barely misidentified at all, and darker-skinned women were misidentified more than a third of the time. Like I said, imagine that. I'm 30 times more likely to be labelled as someone that I'm not, simply because of my skin tone and gender. That's not just a small bug, that's a design flaw with real human consequences. So the bottom line is this: facial recognition is not neutral, it doesn't treat everyone equally, and we're going to use it in public places, especially in law enforcement. We need to have absolute clarity, strict rules, real transparency, and proper oversight. Because right now, the technology is still making the biggest mistakes with the people who've historically had the least margin for error. So, I hope you found that useful and informative, and it answered all your questions. You're always welcome to ask me any questions you like. And that's all for now. I'll close the